from the Fox 10 Gulf Stream, this is Next Weather.
All right, here's what we're tracking on Next Weather. I want to talk a little bit about what could happen in the tropics over the weekend, and we're seeing a repeat of what we had last week. And so we've got this thing that sits over Central America. It's a low pressure area. It's like a monsoon type setup, and this low sits here really in May and June, and then again September through November, and produces a lot of rain for places like Honduras and Nicaragua and down towards Costa Rica here, as well as Belize and Guatemala. And it produces and can produce occasionally tropical systems, especially when you get these little vorticity maximums that kind of ride around that Central American gyre, or if the gyre itself gets displaced a little bit. And in this case, we've got another low pressure area. It's embedded within some thunderstorms as it's coming off the Yucatan right now. And if you're looking at this map, you might be saying, well, what's this thing right here? It's kind of spinning. That's an upper level low, and upper level lows are generally unfavorable for tropical development, but that's going to push inland over Mexico, and it's going to leave this thing in a more favorable environment for possibly strengthening into a depression or a storm by the second part of the weekend. Right now, nothing's imminently forming. Odds of development in the short term only about 30%. And this one had a chance, but it's running out of real estate. It's about to push inland over Georgia and South Carolina. This is a low pressure area. It's been battling a dry air environment, and that's why it really hadn't gotten going. But there are some thunderstorms along Florida's Atlantic coast, not far away from Jacksonville, a little south and just north of Cape Canaveral. You can see just a teeny tiny little window of opportunity with that one. But this particular feature could be what we think might be tropical depression number 2, or maybe even getting a name. If it does, the next name on the list would be Beryl. Odds of development 60%, and everything's right for tropical development, unfortunately. Water temperatures are up and they're above normal, and when we look at water temperatures, and it's not a political thing here, they're just above normal, okay? And they're about 2 to 2.5 degrees hotter than where they normally are for this time of the year in the Atlantic Basin, and that's the scientific fact. We've got hot water all across our portion of the tropical Atlantic, Caribbean Sea, and Gulf of Mexico. And so there's higher oceanic heat content, and this will really be more problematic, we think, as the season goes on, when upper level winds get a little bit more favorable. And we've already used Alberto. That was a tropical storm. Beryl is next, then Chris, Debbie, and we may make our way pretty good ways through the list. The official forecast is for an above average season. The water temperatures are warmer than they were last year, and last year they were record-breaking warm. And then this year we've got that La Nina pattern, so we have the upper level winds that are a little bit more favorable. So the GFS model kind of showing you what we think will happen. Saturday we'll have a broad low, and these broad lows, we don't normally get rapid intensification, but as it gets a little closer to Texas here and then pushes inland over Mexico, we could see this thing as briefly a depression or a storm. It's still showing as of Sunday possibly a low right in here, right near the coast of Mexico, and it just kind of keeps drifting westward. We would have it ashore by Monday. It's just a little opportunity to get a tropical system going there. Not great for Mexico, as they've seen a lot of rain, just had a tropical storm, but they may be about to get another one. Temperatures in the low 90s with light winds tomorrow. And the east wind that has been prevailing for days is about to change, go light, and then come around a little bit more out of the south. That will gradually crank up our humidity, so watch out for that. Saturday, Sunday, high heat index about 100. Next week, the heat index up to about 105. Scattered showers and storms will return along with that moisture. Thanks for joining us for Next Weather.